Okay, Mike, I'm so excited to chat with you. We were just chatting a little bit, and I'm like, this is going to be such a good conversation. So I can't wait to dive into all things air quality, how it's related to your fertility, like kids' health, like everything. It's going to be so good. Before we dive in, I'd love for you to just give yourself a little intro of like how you maybe got into the like air quality space, and just like, yeah, what you're all about with it and what's like your real mission around it.
Yeah, so if you told me like 12 years ago that I would be in the air business, air testing, I would not have believed you. Um, so I was doing disaster chasing, basically floods, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. So
Mm,
I would go, California wildfires, hurricanes and Hurricane Harvey in Houston. I'd go to the most devastated parts of the continent, US and
wow.
Canada, and rebuild and detoxify homes after natural disasters. And I
Wow.
got to see firsthand how sick people were after wildfire smoke from mold. And that
Yeah.
was very eye-opening for me. And
Mm,
especially in those settings, we were testing air quality a lot.
mm.
So I never was testing air before. I was doing blood
Yeah.
work. I was testing
Right.
my water. I was thinking about my food, but
Yeah.
air was not even on my mind. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to dial in my supplements and my saunas and all this stuff. Meanwhile, we eat 2 pounds of food a day, we drink 2 liters of water, and we breathe 17,000 liters of air. Like,
Wow.
it's like we're paying attention to like microplastics in our water, but we breathe way more of everything than we do eat it or drink it. So
Mm.
it's like hiding in plain sight, literally.
Yeah.
And because we were testing the homes, we got to like really see what was in there and see how sick people were after fires for several months. And that's because it's an air problem.
Yeah.
And the machines that we would use, actually, I'll tell you a story because it'll be perfect for your audience. There was a fire in Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada. It was the biggest fire in Canadian history. So a town of 100,000 the entire city got evacuated.
Wow.
And I went there to rebuild and clean up homes. And my focus was not on the homes that were totally burnt down, like rebuilding them. I was focusing on homes that were um, toxically impacted from the smoke, and
Mm.
they had to be detoxed before you could move back home. So
Right.
ripping out your carpets, your insulation, your paint, throwing out all your furniture, your clothes, like
Oh,
detoxing the house, sometimes down to the studs,
wow.
sometimes just a surface detox and an air detox. And then we'd have to test it, show that it's safe before the family could move back home.
Mm.
And I remember there's a lady named Tanya, and another company had already come in to clean her home. And after a week after their home was safe, their baby was in the hospital. Like, I
Ooh.
remember the picture of the baby. Baby was like 3, 4 months old
Oof.
on a nebulizer. And how crazy is this? Nebulizers and CPAP machines don't even have air filters. So people are
Oh
like,
my
baby
God.
has
I
a
didn't even think
machine
of that.
to pump oxygen down its throat, and it's still breathing the same moldy, pollen-filled, dirty air. Like there's no filtration system for that
Wow.
air that's being pumped down your throat.
Oof.
So Tanya's child was very sick, had to go to the hospital. We go out there, we test the air quality, and it was quite contaminated again because the house was cleaned, but the outdoor air was still contaminated. So the house got recontaminated.
Right.
So I was like, "Hey, insurance company, what should we do? We got to take care of this." And they're like, "We
Yeah.
don't clean twice." I'm like, I guess that would be it's a problem. Like, I get it. They can't clean the house 5 times,
Right.
but
Because
at the
I
same
wonder how
time,
how long does the air usually stay like that after a natural disaster?
like 6 months, sometimes more.
Wow. Yeah, so it's like how many
It
times are they
depends
gonna
on a
come in?
valley, wind, close to the
Right.
ocean. There's a lot
Right.
of factors. So I don't like, it could be 2 months, it could be 2 years of varying
Yeah.
degrees. Um, so with Tanya, I'm like, hey, let's just get air scrubbers, let's bring our big air cleaners in the home,
Hmm.
do a test, and see what that does. So we brought our big air scrubbing machines in. Picture like loud, large industrial air machines. So great for construction and mold, but not practical for everyday life.
Yeah.
Well, within 3 hours, the air quality in her home was like pristine again. So they were able to at least live in the home and be okay. A few months later, we retested, we pulled them out. So this kept happening.
Mm.
And we couldn't leave all of our equipment at everyone's homes. We needed them for new jobs. So I
Yeah.
went to all the big box stores, Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot, grabbed a bunch of air purifiers. I'm like, let me just buy them like six of them and leave them there. Well,
Mm.
we did that. And within a few hours, the air was bad again. I'm like,
Wow.
oh, huh. My air scrubber and this little air purifier are not built the same. So
Mm.
I was like, we have these effective machines that are loud and ugly, so they're not practical, they're not elegant, they're ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have these small machines that are cheap and cute, but they don't do anything. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'm not being impactful. I'm detoxing these homes and they're getting recontaminated. So I'm
Right.
like, I want to build an air purifier that's commercial grade,
Mm.
industrial strength, but beautiful, quiet, no Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi, no EMF, no apps. Like,
Nice.
let's make something that's commercial grade,
Yeah.
but beautiful. So
Mm.
that's kind of how I set out on my journey to
Wow.
create the world's most effective and beautiful air purifier that was inspired by the commercial tech. And then COVID happens, and we end up selling to doctors and dentists for the first year and a half, helping
Wow.
businesses get back. But long story short, I was doing disasters, I was consulting people on air, and there just wasn't a good thing that looked beautiful and did a good job. You had to either have
Mm.
small and ineffective or ugly and effective and loud. So we
Yeah.
kind of, it's like if there was like pickup trucks and like Civics and there was no like Yukon to an alley, like we need an SUV. A lot of moms don't want minivans, even though they're really effective.
Right.
They want the SUV so I could take the kids
Yes.
around, bring my stuff, go to soccer practice and look good while doing it. I'm like, we
Amen.
need the Yukon Denali of air purifiers. And here we
Yes.
are.
Wow. Wow. What an awesome, interesting journey you've been on with that. And you painted like such a good picture of it. So let's peel it back and just talk about like what is the overall importance of indoor air quality and like how does it get so dirty? Why should we be so concerned about it? Because, like you said, we are so focused on organic foods, on high quality supplementation, on all these things, which is what I talk about too. And it's crazy that we don't really think about something that we're breathing literally all day, every day, forever and ever. So,
You live
like,
in it.
yeah, right. We live in it. Like, how does it get so dirty? Because even if it's like we open our windows, we get fresh air in. It's like, how fresh is the air? So, like, why should we be so concerned about it? Like, what's the importance of it? And how does our air get so dirty, even without like a natural disaster happening?
Well, let's just look at the three things that keep us alive.
Hmm.
Food, water, and air. We
Right.
can get into other things and sun and a lot of that, but food, water, air are like the three major things that we consume to sustain
Hmm.
us.
Hmm.
Without those things, we don't live we don't live.
Yeah.
So you can go about 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, but only 3 minutes without air.
Mm.
Air is the first thing you do when you're born. It's the last
Hmm.
thing you do when you die.
Mm.
So I believe because of how foundational it is to our existence, we take it for granted. It's like, do
Totally.
are fish grateful for water or
Yeah.
is it just a given? Well, what happens when you take the fish out of the water?
Mm.
They flail around and die in a couple minutes. Well, what do you think happens if you take the human out of the air?
Right. Yeah, you
But
die.
the fish in the ocean, if there's like a big contaminated part of the ocean, the fish don't swim to the cleaner water. They're not aware because they're in it. So what water
Hmm.
is to fish, air is to people.
Mm.
I mean, if you jumped into a dirty pond, you'd be like, get me out of here. And you'd start cleaning yourself off. But with
Right.
air, you could be swimming in dirty air
You wouldn't even know it,
and
really.
you don't know it. Like you could
Hmm.
smell it when you change into like if you go to a place that smells, within a few minutes, you don't even smell it anymore. You
Yeah,
adapt
you get used to
so
it.
quickly. You get used
Hmm.
to it. So we're all really used to bad air. If anyone's dealt with mold toxicity or mold illness or anything, what do you think that is? You're not eating or drinking the mold, you're breathing it. Mold's an air
Mm.
problem. If you have seasonal allergies, how are you getting the pollen? You're breathing it. When
Yeah.
the cars are driving and all that pollution, if you smell asphalt when you're driving down the road, you're breathing it. When you breathe stuff, it's no different than drinking it or eating it. You're putting it in your body.
Hmm.
So air is like the most obvious. I think it's steps. People are talking more about breath work right now than air. We don't
Yeah.
talk about eating, we talk about food. We don't
Yeah.
talk about drinking, we talk about water. But literally, breath work gets talked about more than the actual air you're breathing
It's
during the breath
so
work.
real. It's so real. And I'm guilty of it. Like it's so real.
People are. People are
Hmm.
like literally. So I'm at an Airbnb right now and I have two Jaspers here. I travel with my Jaspers because
Hmm.
there is one downside to investing in clean air. You
Hmm.
become an air snob.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a Jasper after this. I told you that.
Can't wait.
And the downside is you will be an air snob.
Yeah, I'm
So
can't wait to be one.
you will be one because it's like, what are you doing now for water? I saw a little water bottle there.
Yeah, I have a
That didn't
filter.
look like straight city tap water.
No, hell no. No way. I have a
So
filtration system.
people spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on food.
Yeah.
They spend thousands of dollars on your own water. You just don't realize it.
Yeah.
You get water in your sodas, you get water in your juices, and your
Hmm.
Ollipops, and your
Hmm.
poppies, and your sparkling water.
Your
You buy
filtration system.
your filtration system. You
Hmm.
spend thousands a year on water, but you don't even really notice it because it's a little here, a little there.
Yeah.
But people's air budget is like nothing. So
Right.
the thing
Zero.
that you consume the most of, you budget like maybe $30 a year for like a cheap furnace filter that doesn't
Yeah.
even clean your air. But your
Right.
people's air budget is not at all in line
Hmm.
for how much of it that they're consuming and how much it impacts them. So if you think about how you when you were a kid and you're like playing outside and you're drinking from a hose, only now you're like, wait, that tasted like plastic or like lead. But
Hmm.
back then it was just water. Growing up, like when did you stop drinking tap water?
Oh God. Probably. Yeah.
What
Well,
were you doing when you were 10 years old and you'd
yeah, I
go
was
to a
drinking probably
restaurant?
tap water, but in high school and like college, I had like a Brita filter, which is garbage. It wasn't anything. Probably the last like 10 years, I've been more like high, like really intense with my filtration system. But when I was younger, no, I'm pretty sure we probably drank tap. I don't even know. I don't even
So,
remember.
Brita filter of water, that's like the air doctor of air, or like,
Yeah. I'm like, when
one of these
people,
brands at the store. So
right. It's like
it's
pointless.
great. Don't get me wrong. No, it's not pointless.
Well,
It's
the
good.
Brita for me, the Brita, I'm like, I mean, it's better
But
than
Brita
tap,
does
but
it's way better than nothing.
true, true,
The biggest jump you can always make is 0 to 1, 0 to something.
true,
So
true.
Brita is not a high quality filter, but
No,
having a filter is still the biggest first step someone can make.
good
So
point.
a lot of these $99, 199, 299 air purifiers, they were like people's Brita. Their
Hmm.
awareness journey is like, okay, like I'll just get the cheapest one off Amazon. It says it does a large room. Let's just buy it.
Yeah.
So what's in your air now? Every breath of air you're taking in right now, and I literally actually have my particle counter upstairs, but my Wi-Fi won't reach. I'll bring it down after. Every breath of air you're taking now, you have pollution. You have rubber
Hmm.
from tires. You have your neighbor's bounce sheet. You have the Roundup from your entire city's yards. That there's just because you don't put Roundup on your yard, it doesn't
Hmm.
mean you're not breathing everybody else's Roundup.
Oh, I didn't even think
Um,
of that.
the pollen
Yep.
outside from allergy season, there's typically more pollen in your house than there is outside. It gets in your carpets, it gets in your furniture, it gets in your clothing, and it stays in there.
Mm.
Um, it gets in your everything's porous, airborne mold,
Yeah.
insect parts, bacteria. If you have a baby and a diaper and you're using a diaper genie or another pail and your
Hmm.
baby's room smells like poop,
Hmm.
guess what? It's because it is. The
Mm.
airborne bacteria levels in nurseries is off the charts.
Oh my God.
So you literally have fresh baby out of the womb, pop them in the nursery, shut the door, and leave a poop container in there. If it was airtight, you would smell nothing.
Right.
So one of the biggest ways we pollute our house is we literally like let food sit there. We cook. So we have hairspray. We have cleaning products. So we have all of the outdoor pollutions, and then we also have the indoor pollutions. And
Mm.
then our homes are built so tight to be energy efficient that we trap everything inside. So we're no different than like a fish tank that has no filter. That's like dark, murky water. And
Yeah,
I'll
you
go
just can't
back to
see
what
it.
water is to fish, air is to people. If you
Mm.
have a swimming pool or a fish tank, you can't just jump in the pool and like you don't just scrub the pool with a sponge. You need a water filter.
Right.
Otherwise, your pool is going to
Right.
get nasty. You need to move
Mm.
that water, change that water, filter that water. If you have a fish tank, any size, you need to have a filter and a pump to filter that water. If you don't, it's literally going to be a cesspool. So
Mm.
people's air in their home, that's why average indoor air is 5 to 10 times dirtier than outdoor air. And
Wow.
we have cleaning ladies and housekeepers and all that. We're scrubbing our counters and our walls. But
Hmm.
anytime you're seriously cleaning a place, it's an integrated strategy of air and surface. And
Mm.
when you start cleaning your air, your dust levels go way down. Your allergy, like the best way to have a clean home is why do you want a clean home? When you clean up, it smells fresher, but
Yeah.
you're not even filtering the air. So my biggest mission here is to make people aware of the air that they live in and the air that they're breathing from the moment
Wow.
they're born to the moment that they die. That's why
Wow.
we're here.
That is like like it's just so crazy that we don't think about it because you don't see it. And it's just like you said, we take it for granted. So what are some like physical symptoms or ailments or maybe that we can experience from poor indoor air quality that like we might not even know is connected to air quality? I know you talk about like how it prevents deep sleep. You talk about some allergy things. Like what are some things we could maybe be experiencing that air quality could be contributing to these problems?
Yeah, so luckily you already have a really health conscious, health aware audience who's only
Yes.
listening to you because they want to be healthier people, that they're going to take time out of their day. So thank you for being here, everybody. And I'm glad that you're already health aware,
Yeah.
because when we have like trade show booths and people walk by, often I'm like, "Do you filter your water?" And if they say no, I just like keep walking.
You're like, all right,
Basically, like
forget it.
if
You're
if
not
you're
my
not,
client.
I'm not going to convince you to care about health today.
Total. No, it's exactly. Let someone else do that. Not our
We're not
job.
there yet,
Yeah.
but I can. But what everybody already knows about food and water is the exact same thing for air.
Hmm.
So you know that if you drink tap water,
Hmm.
you're not necessarily going to feel sick immediately.
Right.
It
Right.
will taste funky. You're like, that tastes like chlorine. That's hard water. If you, but if you start drinking filtered water consistently, your blood test, your blood scores can be better, your inflammation can go down.
Hmm.
And it's not that it's because you're drinking clean water, it's because you're not drinking the chemicals and the pollutants. If you
Yeah.
start eating organic, if you have non-organic asparagus or broccoli, you won't feel sick after that meal, but it's one meal, one day, one choice at a time compounds. You
Yes.
know, if you go into someone's moldy apartment for an hour, you may not know anything. You sleep there for a couple nights, these toxins and these stress burdens build up. So
Mm-hmm.
humans are super resilient. We can handle a little bit of mold, a little bit of pollen. This is fine. This is not a problem. The
Hmm.
problem is when our indoor air in our bedroom is dirtier than outside, we're getting beat down by pollen and allergies 24 hours a day with no time to just drain our stress buckets and rest and heal and recover.
Hmm.
So I turn my bedroom into a clean air sanctuary. So, and often when people dial in their bedroom air, they're a lot of their daytime stuff goes away. Their energy's better. Their sleep is better. When your sleep and recovery is better, everything's better. Your
Oh,
body can heal
everything.
itself better than any supplement. But when
Amen.
you when you put, if you feed your food garbage air, garbage water, and garbage food, then it's playing defense instead of healing. It's on the defense. It can't
Hmm.
regenerate. It can't get parasympathetic. So when you're breathing clean air all night long, your body's like, thank you for the clean air sanctuary. Let me take
Yes.
care of my process. These new modern homes that are airtight with toxic paint and insulation and everything, these are new inventions. We're not meant to live in these things.
Yeah.
So now that we have, unless you want to move to Costa Rica in the jungle, not very practical.
Right.
For everybody
Not most of
else,
us are doing that.
or you're not going to like move to like a spring.
Yeah.
So you need to filter your water. You can get
Yeah.
organic food, and you need to filter your air. And
Right.
that's how you can have the modern conveniences that you enjoy and also not have to live a toxic life. So it's
Yeah.
everything that you already know about like toxic loads and burdens.
Hmm.
It's the exact same thing for air. Whether you drink your microplastics or breathe it, it's the
Hmm.
same thing.
Yeah. And just
So
how those things could impact, like the food and the water supply and all those endocrine disruptors that are in all of that, like how it can affect your fertility and childhood development, like all those things. The air is the same way, especially the mold.
yes.
So let's talk about that because mold, I think, is something that a lot of people don't realize is actually affecting them. And I know it's linked to fertility issues, it's linked to childhood development issues, brain development. Like it's a major issue. And I know you talk about how it's like the new Lyme's disease. So can we talk about like how mold easily grows? Obviously, we know from like water, but just like breaking it down and how maybe we can know we have it, what we can do about it to prevent it. Obviously, getting the Jasper, but like, what are some things you can talk about to us about mold and just really preventing it and also knowing if it's something that's in our homes?
So my background, obviously, I remediated and tested hundreds of homes for mold,
Mhm.
and pretty much every home has mold.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
whenever I have a friend who has the lease, I'm like, if you ever want to break the lease, just call me. I'll come over and I'll find the mold.
Wow, that's scary. But I guess it's true. I guess what from like showering, hot showers, things like that. Like I'm assuming that's
Well,
contributes to
mold's
it.
outside. I'm breathing mold right now. Mold is a
Mm,
naturally occurring, just like pollen. Every home has pollen.
mm,
Your home is not separate from the outdoor environment. So
mm.
the air that you have inside just comes directly from outside.
Right.
But the nice thing about outside, it has the world's greatest air purifier built in. Nature. You got
Mm,
the wind,
the
sun.
trees. Yeah.
So sun is the biggest UV light ever. So
Mm-hmm.
that's disinfecting everything. You have
Wow.
trees, you have rain, you have wind. It's the
Yeah.
most amazing filtration system. That's why
Right.
you can have wildfire smoke. It eventually dissipates. The oceans filter it out, the forests filter it out.
Mm.
In our homes, it's a tight box, and we kept the nature out. So
Yeah.
you don't really have a mold problem outside. It's a problem inside. It's like, why don't you see you have dust accumulating on like your nightstand?
Mm-hmm.
There's no dust outside. Why? There should
Right.
be way more dust because nature's purifier takes care of all that for us.
Mm.
So
Wow.
inside, the air is not good. So focusing on mold, um, a lot of people end up, they're having a health issue. They go to a naturopath, they get a blood test. It's like, you got the mold. They test their house, you got the mold.
Hmm.
Next thing you know, they're ripping their whole home apart,
Yeah.
and they didn't necessarily even have any physical mold. It's just airborne mold. I could test the same house 24 hours apart and have 30 times more or less mold based on the humidity and the moisture of how recently it rained.
Wow.
Meanwhile, people are making these massive life decisions based
Mm.
on a snapshot in time.
Wow.
So the same way the temperature is different in the morning and the afternoon, so is your mold level. So
That's so
depending on if the
crazy.
mold inspector came the day after it rained and doesn't test outside, your mold levels are going to look off the charts. Um,
Mm.
so it's natural. It's just like if you have a well or city water, your water is not going to be clean.
Yeah.
Whether it's
No.
the metal from the well, the bacteria, the chlorine from the city water, you have to filter that water. So
Mm-hmm.
air is no different. Mold
Mm.
is very naturally occurring. It's
Mm.
only problematic when you live your life in a Tupperware box that is your home. Your
Mm.
home is wrapped in vapor barrier. So your home is like a big Ziploc bag
Mm.
and you're living in it. So if like where
Oof.
does the mold grow on your food? It's like when you contain things. And
Yeah,
then
it's
in your
there so
home,
long.
you got your shower. It's the humidity is building. Your home is not breathing properly. So
Right.
there's usually a ventilation issue, but then yeah, you just have to filter air in an indoor space.
And so the
Because
Jasper will help with mold issues as well.
Jaspr is amazing for mold. Most air purifiers are actually amazing for mold. And I'll tell people, like, one of the best air purifiers you could actually get is the DIY one. So
Mm.
Jaspr is amazing, but it's also expensive.
Yeah.
We didn't make Jaspr for everybody. We
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make Jaspr a premium product with a premium warranty and premium support.
Yeah.
But like what I don't want to see people do is buying some $200 air purifier off Amazon that they think is getting the job done. For
Mm.
$200, you can build a DIY air purifier that's going to be 5 times better than the one at the store. The
Mm.
difference is it's going to be ugly and a little bit loud.
Mm. How
So
do
we
you do
wanted to
it?
make so if you literally just Google DIY air purifier
Oh,
or
okay.
Corsi Rosenthal box, which is Corsi Rosenthal box, but if you
Okay.
type in DIY air purifier, you'll see lots of designs.
Okay, cool.
It's annoying and it's tedious, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's better. It's a shame when people buy something that doesn't work. I don't want to
Yeah.
see people buying Britas that they
Mhm.
think are more proficient. If you know it's a Brita
Yeah.
and you're honest with yourself, get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's a shame when someone thinks it's an excellent product.
Right.
And I've been to people's homes that are worth $100 million in testing, and they
Mm.
have a $99 air purifier. It
You're like,
wasn't because of the money. They just were checking a box. They thought it was like a kettle.
right.
This heats the water, this cleans the air. They just
Mm-hmm.
weren't thinking about it. I was
Yeah.
at Lance Armstrong's house this morning. That's why I was late.
Get out.
No air filters.
Oh my
This
God.
guy is a health tech investor.
Yeah.
He's one of the best athletes of all time. He's dialing in his nutrition, his bed, his vibe, his water, and he was totally sleeping on air. So
Right.
he set up his
Yeah.
office and his living room and his bedroom. So it's like
Amazing.
even Andrew Huberman's not talking about air.
Yeah.
Like, so
You
it's
just
just
don't think
absolutely
about it.
wild.
It
We're not
is
thinking about it.
wild. This is going to be, though, like you're really starting a movement around this, and this is going to be like the next biggest thing that everybody is talking about, which is like crazy that it's not already when you actually think about it, but we really just don't think about it. And it's insane that we don't, because when you start talking about it, you're like, obviously, like, why wouldn't this
So
be
the
top
air
priority?
snob is the key to the air awareness because here's what's going to happen. We're going to have a Jasper in your bedroom.
Yeah.
And then you're going to leave your bedroom and realize the rest of your home smells weird and it's heavy and hard
Mm.
to breathe. And then you're going to go to someone else's house. It's going to be contributing to cleaning the whole home. But
Mhm.
then you're going to go to hotels. Like, you ever go in an Uber and they got those Christmas tree things?
It should be illegal that people have air
So
fresheners in their car.
I'm in Austin. So, like, Jason Karp and all those folks and Courtney Swan, the people who were like starting to like banning the red dyes and the Kellogg's and all that.
Yes, yes. I
I'm
had
trying
them
to
on the
get that
podcast.
going for Uber for air fresheners.
Yes.
I want Uber to have a box where you can have a scent free Uber.
It needs to be like I get a headache immediately.
So a lot of people don't get the headache.
That's because they're
And
used to the fragrances and all that crap. I'm not used to
exactly. So
that stuff, you know?
you're already kind of on this game of keeping the toxins out of your life, so you
Totally.
notice that.
Oh
But
yeah.
then, everybody goes in the mall and they smell Lush and Bath and Body
Oh,
Works and those stores. But then,
terrible.
like for me, it's almost any mall, almost any restaurant,
Mm,
almost every hotel. I go into the air and I keep my air quality like monitor with me.
yeah.
So I measure the air when I get to the hotel room and then I plug in my Jasper. We're typically getting the air about 20 times cleaner in 30 minutes. So
Wow.
now when I walk back out into the hallway, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah, you
you
can't breathe.
don't notice necessarily when you're going in.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll go to families' homes, friends' homes, restaurants, and you'll start to notice it. It's like what drinking tap water as a kid, fine. But once you start drinking the filtered water, now you taste the chlorine in the tap. The
I
same
even
thing happens with
smell
your
it.
air, and then you're like, oh, you smell it. Yeah. So this is a
Yeah,
problem. And it's going to become even more annoying for you.
totally.
But
Wow. This
ignorance
is
is not bliss.
no, no, especially when we're talking to who we're talking to on this podcast of people who are trying to conceive, who are pregnant, who are
Let's talk about
postpartum.
fertility stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about it because this, especially like
So we
it's,
had a journey there.
yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead, go.
Yeah, so for our first child, Aria, and my wife was a labor and delivery nurse, so she was used to being on the other side of work, new babies and moms and working at OBGYN clinics and stuff like that. Took about 8 or 9 months for our first child, um, and it felt like 10 years.
Yeah, it's a pretty
And
long
then
time.
then
Yeah,
then we thought that was the longest time ever, and now it doesn't seem so bad compared to a lot of stories and people
totally.
that we know. But we did all the stuff. So, but like we were living in an apartment in the city, and
Mm,
then this was around the time I was developing Jaspr. So
mm,
we dialed in our food. We're like, let's just be as healthy as we can at this time.
yeah.
It's like they say, stop drinking when you're pregnant. Maybe stop drinking when you're trying to conceive,
I
and
always say that.
maybe I should join on the journey as well. So we
You're
just use this as a
50% of the equation. So, yes, the men need to be on board as well. Like, it's mind-blowing to me when they're not. So, kudos to you.
So we got there, but yeah, it was that's when we started dialing our blood work and our testing, and
Hmm.
we didn't want to over stress or anything about it because then
Yeah.
that is the new biggest problem.
Oh,
But
yeah.
definitely, I'm not going to go and make a claim about an air purifier is going to get you pregnant right away,
Yeah.
but you could assume that breathing less mold, toxins, allergies, and pollen is going to be good for your fertility system. How could it
100%.
how could it not be?
Exactly. Yeah, because like we know there's direct links to from pesticides, herbicides, all of that to reproductive issues, to fertility issues. Like there are direct links to it. So obviously the toxins and the mold and all that that's in, and there's direct links from mold and fertility issues. So it's like it is linked
And how
already.
do you get mold? You breathe
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So I mean, that's so huge, especially because the women who are listening to this, like, who have been trying to conceive, some for 8 months, some for 7 years, it's like they'll do whatever it takes, and they might not even realize, like, wow, I've been so focused on everything else, and like this air quality could be one piece of the puzzle, right? Like, you're not saying it's like,
A
okay, do this and
huge
you're gonna get
piece.
pregnant.
It's a
Yeah,
huge piece because
yeah.
all night long, if you're breathing 15,000 breaths a day, give or take,
Wow.
5,000 of them is in your bedroom at night. So table
Mm,
stakes, at least people spend thousands on bed. They spend 20 grand on bathroom renovations,
yeah.
$5 for every bottle of Fiji water. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, but you're breathing air 24/7. It's the
Yeah.
cheapest investment you can make. It's not the place to save money. Um,
No. Oh my
Even if someone,
God.
and it's not about Jasper, I'm like, even if someone needs to get a DIY air purifier and they
Yeah.
don't mind the loudness, but I'm like, you cannot, if you have any health goals, like I work with a lot of naturopaths and clinics. I'm spending hundreds of dollars a month on supplements. I don't even know if they work.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
true.
I don't know.
So
Uh,
true.
so we did a study last year with Aura where
Oh.
150 people using Aura rings, we
Mhm.
gave them Jaspers and they monitored their sleep for the month. and the average person slept 27 minutes more per night,
Wow.
18% more deep sleep, and they fell asleep 5 minutes faster.
That's major,
So,
especially if you're a mom and you're like, I'll take 27 extra minutes if I can get it a night. Like, that's a big deal.
and 18% more deep sleep.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
literally, we had yesterday the air purifier got brought from upstairs to downstairs. Like my wife will not sleep in her room. She's like, "Where's the Jaspr?" Like
yeah. Especially if she's
we can't.
pregnant. So, like, of course.
Very pregnant. Baby's coming in 6 weeks.
Oh, it's so exciting. Oh my God. And that's another thing. Like, if you're pregnant, whatever you're breathing in, your baby is getting. And there are so many kids now with asthma, with allergy issues, with all these things that, of course, can be linked to so many other things aside from air. But it's like, this is huge and this can help them. Like you were saying before with nebulizers, like those don't even have filters on it. It's like, let's just get the air cleaner and just see how much it can help them. It's like, just test it out.
It's staggering, and that's why we have something called the life-changing guarantee.
Mm.
So in the first 60 days, it's not like a massive no-brainer. Like people should read the reviews on our website are crazy.
Oh, I
The amount
can't
of
wait to
people
look.
whose husbands stopped snoring,
Mm.
um, kids stopped having asthma attacks,
Yes.
allergies completely gone.
It makes
People with
sense.
psoriasis symptoms gone. It's like you were breathing mold all night, and now you're not.
Yeah. Oh
So
my
it's not like air
God.
purifier is what fixed you. It's not breathing mold at night fixed you.
Yeah. Like this, like
Because no,
really
sorry,
getting down to the root
you
of the
fixed
problem.
yourself. You
Yeah, your
you want to
body's
talk about
designed to
root?
heal.
Yeah, you live in air. Maybe start cleaning up your home.
Yeah.
Our home is air,
Oh my
and
God.
you can live without a house. You can't live without air. So like
Right.
maybe before we do the like $50,000 renovation, like let's and we paint our house with toxic stuff.
Mm.
Maybe clean air is a good idea. So what we do, and like I used to, now it's amazing how many people started with one Jasper and now they have like four or five
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's kind of
it's
a
gonna be
mindset
amazing.
shift. You could spend 8, 9 grand on a whole home water filtration system. It's 500 grand a year to maintain it.
Hmm.
Oil changes for your car could be like hundreds of dollars a year.
Yeah. Oh,
So, but
yeah.
like, and nowadays the modern human is spending 90 to 95% of your time indoors.
Yeah, I
So,
know. It's terrible.
$1,000 air purifier, expensive, sure, but 2,500 or 3 grand. So think about Jasper like a Sonos system. Do you consider Sonos a speaker? No, it's a whole home surround sound system. So when
Mm.
someone has one Jasper per bedroom and one in the living room, so now your sleep is dialed in and your cooking area is dialed in, all of
Mm.
a sudden you're breathing 20 times cleaner air all the time. So that's 95% less toxins entering your body always. You're sleeping better, you're
Wow.
breathing better, your energy's better. So each Jasper, so it's $199
Mm.
twice a year for filters, right? But we
Wow.
merge the filters with the lifetime warranty. So what
Mm.
that means is for a little over $1 a day, you get clean air for life. If your Jasper
Wow.
breaks, and I'm super proud about this, if Jasper breaks, we ship you a brand new one. You take the new one out of the box. You put the old one back in the box. In there is we give you a prepaid shipping label from UPS,
Amazing.
and then we send UPS to your front porch to pick it up at 9 a.m. the next day. So
Oh,
there's no like, where's your box? Where's
amazing.
your receipt? Go to FedEx. You
Yeah.
know what?
Which is
The
so
saying, treat
annoying.
people how you want to be treated. It's like, how
Hmm.
about treat your customers how you'd want to be treated if you were the
I
customer?
know. It's like it's so annoying to jump through hoops to just freaking return something.
So like it's like let's so 199 for a filter expensive, but like at least 60 of those dollars is going. It's like Apple Care.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just we
Right.
just we just we just make it nice.
Yeah. And like I always say, like control what you can control. You can't control if you're like walking down the street. You can't control the outside air, right? You can't, there's certain things you can't
No, you can't.
control, but
Exactly.
there are things you can control. And like that's what we need to focus on and just kind of let the stress release about the things that we can't control, because especially when
Agreed.
you know that you're doing something that's so beneficial for your overall health in the majority of your life, like because you're spending the most of your time in your home, that it can't not improve your health. It can't not improve your fertility, your children's health, like all the things. And I know that you're really big. We were talking before you hopped on about like children's health in schools and the crap food that they have in there, the crap air, like all
The
of that.
lighting.
The lighting. Oh God, I was a teacher for people who don't know who's listening. I was a teacher for 9 years before I left in 2020 to run this business full time. And like literally I don't think there was ever a day where there wasn't, and I was mostly in the high school setting, but there was never a day where there wasn't at least one kid sick, kids absent. The lighting is absolutely horrible. Like it is just really like a horrible place to learn. It really truly is.
Yeah, so in Finland they did a study where they put air purifiers in schools, and not even like a big great air purifier, just a $500 kind of average one. And immediately absenteeism in students and teachers went down by 30%.
That's, I mean, that's insane.
So think
Like,
about how cheap that is
that's
for
crazy.
what's the cost of a sick child, right? So they're sick. Now you're never gonna not let your sick kid in your bed and like
Of
kiss them and be
course,
close to
you
them.
all get
So now
sick.
now you're sick. Now
Days
your
off of
colleagues are
work.
sick.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Disney World trip got canceled.
Yeah.
Maybe the sporting event got canceled. The concert got canceled.
You have to
You're
take
you're not
off.
productive.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of a sick child is massive. And when my daughter was in daycare, or like, yeah, when she was 2, she was sick chronically. And I'm like, she wasn't sick last month chronically. Now she's
Mm-hmm.
in here and so I start digging into this. I'm like, oh, they're using toxic cleaning chemicals. The windows don't
Ugh.
open. There's horrible
Ugh.
lighting. There's scented air fresheners.
Oh
The
my
the the
God.
water filter system is subpar. There's no air filtration. So I gifted a Jasper to her classroom, and
I
then
was just gonna
Aria,
say, did you do that?
she stopped getting sick. No, they actually bought 5 more, because they're like, oh, this is working. Like, yeah, it
Of
is.
course it
Um,
is. Yeah.
and then I want to give people some free tips as well that they could do
I
in
was
their
just
home
gonna
other
say,
than buying
let's,
an air
yeah,
purifier.
let's round up
Just
with
like
that too. Some practical tips to improve your air quality also.
no shoes indoors.
Yes.
If you're cooking, let's make sure the vent above the stove actually works and actually use it. So do a
Hmm.
tissue test. Hold up a tissue to that range hood, put it on fan speed 1, see if it's pulling air.
Okay.
Then make sure it's venting outside.
Mm.
Often it's venting into your attic or a crawl space or behind a wall or up in the cabinet. So it's not actually venting those toxic cooking particles outside. And now when you cook, even if you got grass finished steak with
Yeah.
avocado oil and a cast iron pan and stainless steel and all the things, the chemical reaction between the protein and the heat creates PAH, which is a cancer causing
Yep.
chemical. It's called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. So
Hmm.
it's the byproduct of the cooking that pollutes your air, and then it gets just stuck in everything. So make sure that range hood's working.
Now, wait, real
Yeah,
quick
go
on
ahead.
that. For people who
Yep.
like, I'm personally plant-based, so I know there's definitely people listening who are. Does the same thing happen when cooking with
Asparagus
plants?
too.
Okay, I was gonna
Yes.
say, is it the same thing? Okay.
Asparagus, broccoli,
Okay.
steaming broccoli, all of
Okay.
it.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's not just like, yeah, there's more airborne contaminants when you're burning and heating things because they get aerosolized
Just
with
in
heat.
general. Okay, got it.
So making and then in the bathroom, same deal. Tissue test, make sure that bathroom fan is pulling and run
Hmm.
your bathroom fan for at least 2 hours after you shower. Otherwise, all
Mm.
that moisture and humidity from your towel and just sitting there are adding way too much humidity to your indoor environment.
Yeah, and you'll
So
see the
really
molds start on the ceiling and stuff, like over the shower or whatever. Like, yeah.
just running it while you're showering is not enough because all
Mm.
that water, think about how much water a towel can hold.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
that towel is just drying in there, evaporating. It's a
I didn't
big
even
problem.
think about that. Okay,
And
so 2 hours
then
after.
at least, like, yeah, like leave it. You'll remember to turn it off later, but like run that for a while. And
Okay.
then for the moms out there or dads out there with those diaper genies and diaper pails,
We were never a
you
diaper genie people. It just grossed me out in general.
I'd love to tell you Jasper's the answer, but it's not. I mean, you want it for all the other contaminants in a nursery and
Yeah.
all the VOCs. Like, so in a nursery setting, it's really important to not do that. We were making that mistake. The amount of airborne bacteria in your nursery is absolutely off the charts.
Oof.
So let's get those diapers outside. And if you
Yeah.
are using a pail, they need to get outside daily. You
Yeah.
can't be having 4 days worth of poo stashed
No.
in your baby's bedroom with their.
Oof.
And so adults are breathing 15,000 times a day. Infants can breathe up to 100,000 times a day with no.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a lot of air. Their pump is very small.
So
Their immune system not
small.
really dialed
Yeah.
in, so they're breathing even more. And look what they're breathing. So that's not cool.
Mm.
So clean air for baby for sure. No poopy diapers in
Totally.
the bedroom. If you're getting ready for your child, let's get that nursery room painted as early as possible. So
Yes.
let's say it takes 3 to 6 months for the initial off gassing, a year for the rest.
Mm.
We want that off gassing to happen before baby's in there. Because often
Yeah.
people like rush and they get the nursery ready a month before. Now
Hmm.
that baby's just inhaling paint fumes all the time and low VOC and no VOC paints It's still paint, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're listening to this, you're like, oh my God, my baby's coming, whatever, just have the baby sleep in your room, which they're probably going to anyway for as long as
Perfect.
possible.
Perfect. Exactly. Exactly. And if you do all that paint, leave the door shut and then let those windows open just so that can breathe. You know, the
Mm,
crib, the bassinet, all of these new products off gas.
yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
being mindful of what you're putting into the nursery.
Oh, yes. Huge on that. Like your organic mattress, like making sure it's like Green Guard certified, like all that stuff.
So those are
Love
some good
those.
low-hanging fruits that people can
Perfect.
implement immediately for free today.
And I was gonna say that's all free. Like we all most likely have a fan in our bathroom, the vent over the stove. Like these are things you could do right away. And it's just like I'm so glad you're educating on this because the majority of us do not have this awareness, which is sounds so crazy, but we don't. Like, I've been in the wellness industry for so long and it's like really not something I put so much thought into. So I'm so happy that you came on the show and shared all this. I cannot wait to start using my Jasper. And I mean, I'm probably going to do a whole nother episode on my own after I use it and talk about how much it's helped. So I'm really
Do you
excited.
ever have like codes or anything for people? Is there
Oh,
like a
yeah.
common word
Yes.
that you use?
Yeah. Usually all my codes are code Corinne.
This CORINNE.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what we'll do is I'm gonna set up code Corinne right now, and I'm gonna set it up for $400 off.
Oh,
So we
so
don't run Google
insane.
ads, Facebook ads. We're not at Best Ball, Walmart, Amazon. We don't do that kind of marketing.
Mm,
What I like to do is go and educate people. And forever,
yes.
anyone who thinks this is an investment that they want to make in their health, great, we're here for it. So instead
Amazing.
of giving the store the $400, we just like to give it directly back to the customer.
Oh,
Um, and you still have the lifetime warranty, and you get the return policy and all that. Almost nobody returns them. If you're getting one bedroom for sure, fan speed 2 or 3, now's a
okay.
good time of your life to start breathing clean air.
Yes.
Generally, units in the bedroom, fan speed 2 or 3 on dark mode. So there's no bright lights. If you're putting one in the living room area, smart mode, because that way, as you cook, it's going to automatically, as soon as you start even grilling your vegetables, it's going to go red. You're going to see on the screen, the air quality will go up and it will bring it back down. My
Wow.
favorite review people always say is I've owned lots of air purifiers before. I
Mm.
wasn't sure if they were working. This is the first one I see and feel working
Oh, so
undeniably.
it shows it. That's amazing.
Shows it in real time. So
Wow.
code Corinne's $400 off. Also, on our
Insane.
website, we have we give people quantity discounts when they buy more Jaspers.
Awesome.
So if you buy more, our discounts will stack together. So like if someone buys four, it'll be like your $400 off plus like an additional 150 or something. So we
Wow.
it gets really affordable at that point.
Yeah. And
Um,
so worth it. Like so worth it. Thank you so much for that discount. I am so excited to talk about it. Now, you said this will be through April, the
through
$400 off?
April. Yeah,
Okay,
I don't know exactly. I
perfect.
know this is coming out in the first couple days of April.
Yep.
Um, we're gonna leave this up, and
Amazing.
the Skinny Confidential podcast comes out May 1st anyway,
Oh,
and that will
perfect.
always sell us out. So
Okay. Oh, okay. So we have to do it
you
before
want
that.
get in before then because last
Okay.
time it sold us out
Perfect
for two
timing.
months, and it'll probably happen
Wow.
again.
Oh my God. So if you're listening to this, don't sleep on it. You have
Don't
the
sleep
month
on
of
it.
April to get your shit together, which is perfect timing, especially with
And
the
allergies are bad
pollen.
now.
Yes, yes. And so many people struggle with that. So, wow. Oh my God.
So
Thank
code
you so
Corinne
much. Code Corinne.
at
Perfect.
jasper.co. There's
Okay.
no E in Jasper. So JASPR
Mm.
dot co.
Okay.
Follow us on Instagram at Jasper Co. We're always creating free content and awareness and
Amazing.
podcast clips and teaching. So yeah,
Yes.
jasper.co, JASPR.co. Code
Perfect.
Corinne is $400 off for the month of
Oh,
April.
so
And
major.
hopefully y'all learned something about air today
Oh,
that you can
everybody
start
is.
using to make one. And my favorite quote, it's the laziest way to be healthy.
Yeah, it's so
Of
true.
all the health things you have to do, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to eat food
Yes.
that doesn't taste good. You don't have to take 46 pills. You just
Yes.
push on, set it, forget it, plug and purify, start breathing clean
Wow.
air.
This
Because
is so
you are
major.
what you breathe.
Yes. Oh my God. This is so major, Mike. Thank you so much. I'm gonna put all this information in the show notes, your Instagram, like Jaspr.co, everything. I appreciate your time. I'm so glad we were able to do this. And this is just mind blowing. And I know my audience is gonna love this. So I can't wait to promote this. I can't wait to get my Jasper. I'll keep you posted when I get it.
Jasper's on the way.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to
Justin
see
gave
you.
me a thumbs up. It's literally already on the way.
Okay, thank you, Justin.
Thank you,
We will
Justin.
be in touch. I'm excited for all you have coming, and I'm really excited to share this with my community. It's going to be awesome.
All right. See you later.
Bye, Mike. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for being here. If you loved this episode and learned something valuable, please share it with a friend who you think would also love it, or post it on social media and tag me so I could personally say thank you for helping me spread this important message. I am beyond grateful to be here with you. So until next time, stay intentional, stay consistent, and always mind your hormones.